Okay. I'm just jogging along here. Ah, oh, okay, not the music. Okay, right, I'll stop it. Ah, okay, that's it. That's it. Oh. How are you feeling, people? How are you feeling? It's the motivator here, and I will be alongside Empress Abner. Oh, yeah, I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really good. Why am I feeling good? Look, I got up and I did my exercises and I feel much better for it. Oh my gosh, I feel so much better for alive, truly alive. So I'm ready for this show today. Okay, uh, I've checked. Very few technical issues to report. It will be a good show. This will be a strong show. This will be a show that you'll be inspired by my guest today. Okay? So this is the motivator alongside Empress Abner. Let me give appreciation, of course, to the GalaxyFreeWay.net network and, of course, to Ian King, who has taken us from night to day. Long may it continue so well. Okay? And of course, we appreciate all of you who are both listening and viewing this show via YouTube and Facebook and, of course, Mixcloud. We're, of course, under the Motivator Show. And I say again, DE space Motivator space show. The Motivator Show, live. You can see and you can hear via YouTube, Facebook, and of course, listen to us via Mixcloud. Okay, many platforms, and very soon we'll transmit by another platform. Very soon, just upgrading our technology here so we can minimize the potential technical risk. But I'm feeling good. We continue to innovate. Okay, a person who doesn't innovate but stands still and commits to doing the same routine day out, day in, without variation, without creativity, I say to you, is not living at all. Life is about constant innovation, constant change, constant new experiences. Yeah. And that gives life vitality because we acquire knowledge, acquire a reason for being. Okay? That's what I believe. That's what I believe. That's why I'm the motivator. This is where we translate our words into action and where success is ours for the taking. Be aware, success is ours for the taking. Of course, for this to happen, you cannot simply stand still, can you? Okay? You've got to do something, you know? You've got to think it, speak it, then do it. Far too many people I encounter simply want to think it, speak it, and sit on it. Okay? They criticize others who try. They may not always win or succeed. It's the trying that matters. Yeah? It is the trying that separates us from the other creatures of the world, you know? Yeah. It sets us apart from those who are very young and know no better, from those who are mature and absolutely know better. I'm going to say no more now because I want to push on because this show is going to be exciting. I'll put my back up straight because I'm feeling good. This week, of course, has been a week of controversy. Okay? The Baroness Louise Casey report. A report that looked at the operation of what we know here in England, or indeed here in London, as the, of course, the, you know what it is? You know what it is? The Metropolitan Police Force. Okay? Oh, hello there. More volume. I'll give you more volume. Today it's even better still. Okay. It's going up now. Thank you for that call. Thank you. So there you go. Even more volume. Okay. So we have it here. The Casey report. The Casey report. It has looked at the Metropolitan Police Force. Note that word at the end. Force. Not a service, force. Why is that profound? It has been found yet again in the tradition of the 1981 Independent Scarman Report. It's been found yet again in the tradition of the 1999 Macpherson Report. It has now been found again after what, 40 plus years, to be institutionally racist. But in addition to it being institutionally racist in terms of operation and the delivery of the service, it has been found to be misogynistic and homophobic. And those who are not sure what that word misogynistic means, it means the hatred of women, or sexist if you like, in the truest and purest form. And homophobic, of course, those who belong to the LGBTQ communities. And that is a truly damning indictment on a service that we here in Britain, but certainly in London, have paid billions of pounds to deliver a professional police service to the communities. So even following that awful report, the Scarman report back in 1981, today I stand before you to report the service is even worse today than it was back in 1981. I pause because, of course, the reason for this, of course, is that good cops protect bad cops on the premise it protects the service as a whole, the reputation of the entire service. What a fallacy, huh? What a fallacy. Clearly. It hasn't changed, you know. Oh, it hasn't changed. Oh, wow. Okay. Give it 10% more. 10% more? Okay. Yeah. It's coming up now. It's going up now. Okay, that's better. That should be even better still now. I hope it is. Thank you very much. Thank you. And let me just also go on to say that as we progress and read the report in its detail is really quite, well, very, 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 very uncomfortable. In fact, even though I've lived with it for much of my life, I remain perplexed how it has been possible for both politicians and others to allow this situation to remain for so long. I remain totally perplexed. If this was any other government service, it would have been totally reformed, changed and reformed. New management. If this were the private sector, it would have been out of business by now, taken over by a more professional private sector body. Okay? We Londoners demand change immediately. 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 We Londoners demand change immediately. I'm going to bring in Empress Abner. Here she comes in now. Oh, my Empress, how are you, my dear?
Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, you've got a powerful voice this morning. Oh dear. Right, let me just adjust this here. There you go. How are you feeling this fine morning?
Good morning. I'm all right.
Oh gosh, I'm feeling odd. Your sound is very loud. Don't you worry. It's totally my fault. Don't you worry. Okay. And you, and of course, it's a special time for you. I understand. It is the month of Ramadan, huh?
Yes, it's the month of Ramadan, that full month Ramadan.
Mm-hmm. What's so special about this month? Tell me.
Ramadan is a month where it involves a lot of worship. You remember others that are unfortunate than yourself, that struggle financially, people that are in need. It's a time to get closer to Allah. It's basically a month where you should do on a regular basis. You do everything in that month. So you pray much more, you learn new things about your deen. It's like about self-development, personal development, things that you should be able to do every day. You probably do in that whole 1 month. So, getting closer to God, learning about self-control. So I think it's a good month of something that you could do probably throughout the whole year, but you consolidate it in that 1 month.
I understand you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for providing us with that insight. Because often, not being of that tradition, we don't gain that insight. So I'm so pleased that you are here with us today, my Empress. I know you're fasting now, of course.
Yeah.
So you fast from when to when? Tell us.
So normally me and my son will wake up about 3:40 in the morning,
Oh gosh.
and then we'll have like my cereal, fruit, a sandwich. I normally have just water and dates, or a piece of fruit, because I can't really eat that much in the morning. Around 4 o'clock, we'll do our first prayer, and then we'll pray from dawn till dusk. We break our fast around 6ish. So yeah, but in places like Sweden and Iceland, they probably fast longer than us. They probably fast about 20 hours. We get it a bit better. Yeah. So I'm surviving. I'm okay so far.
All right, thank you. Thank you, my first. Thank you. Now, I'm going to spend 10 minutes on usual health messages. Very popular health messages. I attempted to stop some months ago, but found that I received quite a number of inquiries requesting that
But
it happen.
intermittent fasting is healthy for people. It's actually a good way of getting rid of bad habits, and it's good for your body. So, and a lot of scientists, doctors talk about how fasting, and especially intermittent fasting, is very good for the body to replenish it to its optimum levels. So, not that I'm saying everyone should fast in Ramadan, but speak to your doctors about how to intermittent fasting, because there's different ways you can do it as well.
I completely agree with you. I suppose I do it anyway. I tend not to eat after 6 o'clock. Therefore, I tend not to have breakfast, and I tend to have my first meal at around what most people call their lunchtime. So it's
apparently that's very, very bad. Apparently breakfast is better than lunch. So if you have breakfast and you miss lunch, it's better, and then having dinner. And also because breakfast is the main meal of the day, so that way you get your source of energy. And so like people have overnight oats. I don't know what people eat, but apparently breakfast is better to eat than lunches, so you should never actually miss out breakfast.
Interesting. Oh, I've been doing it for some years now, for quite a few decades. So I hear you. I hear you. That's why I always say, always obtain professional advice. We're providing general opinions, but the professionals provide authoritative opinions. And as I now go into the general health messages, when I focus on specific foods or ingredients we regularly add to our diet, I'm always going to say to you, please seek professional advice. So, of course, I ask the audience to consider the amount of sugar and salt that they add to their diet. Sugar, of course, being one of those ingredients we add to make our foods taste sweeter, better, we're told, as children. Okay, but of course, the levels of diabetes in our community suggest that far too many of us are consuming far too much sugar. Our bodies, after a period of not processing sugar, in other words, the insulin that should be created is not being produced because we become numb to it, because we've overwhelmed our body with too much sugar. So I ask you to consider the amount of sugar that you consume. Okay? I no longer buy sugar from the grocery store because there's no need for me personally to add sugar to my diet. Okay? But I say again, if you're unsure, please seek professional advice. Equally, I ask you to consider the amount of salt you consume. Again, just like sugar, we've been taught as children to add salt to our diets, and indeed, our parents and others, and guardians may well have added salt to your meals. Okay, on the premise, it enhances the food's flavour. Of course, much of this is about personal preference, okay, and tradition. Of course, the hardening of the arteries, the raising of our blood pressure or hypertension, okay, is a big condition within our community. I simply ask you, please, to consider carefully the amount of salt and sugar in your diet. Okay, sugar being a primary cause of diabetes, and salt being a primary cause of high blood pressure or hypertension. And each of us know within our family and networks, we are aware of members of our families, of friends network or associates with one of those two conditions. In our communities, we have a way above average levels of diabetes and hypertension or high blood pressure. So I simply ask you to consider the amount of sugar and salt that you add to your diet. Equally, I ask you to consider the amount of carbohydrates and fat that you add to your diet. Now, this is an interesting one because carbohydrates primarily drawn, in our case, from wheat-based products, okay, are a source of energy, and we store it in our bodies, okay? We then convert it to energy, okay? But combined with the high levels of sugar, combined with carbohydrate, which we store in our bodies for energy, okay? What does it do? It causes our bodies to bloat. I'll come more to that in a moment. But equally important is the fat, primarily drawn from animal-based products. I say the meat or the dairy product, which is simply another form of cow's fat, okay? Particularly the cheese, particularly the margarine, and of course, milk is really bovine lactose, another form of fat. We simply ask you to consider the quantum that you're consuming each day, okay? And ask yourself, do you need to consume quite so much? Okay? Living in the 21st century, okay, our access to nutrients is really quite accessible to us, okay? The consequence is that you see many members of our communities with bloated shoulders, bloated abdomens, bloated thighs, and buttocks, or bottoms, if you like, okay? Now, the question is for us, if you are overweight, okay, it's usually as a result of overconsumption. In some cases, of course, it is as a result of hormonal conditions. That is true. But in the overwhelming majority of cases, it directly correlates to the amount of carbohydrates and fats that you are consuming in excess. So we simply ask you to consider the amount of carbohydrates and fat that you consume. Just consider, and consider, you know, when we measure your weight, are you overweight? Yeah, are you overweight? And what can you do to moderate your weight gain, or indeed promote your weight loss? We simply ask you to consider. Okay. And lastly, I'm going to ask you also to consider the amount of starch that you consume. Okay. Now, starch is one of those ingredients often, and I can hear my cousins from West Africa shout out when I say this, the jollof of rice. Okay. It's simply rice, and rice is primarily starch. Okay. I can hear my people from the Caribbean and other places now. Yeah, on the rice and peas and the rice-based cuisines. Okay. Yeah. It is primarily, he says it, starch. Again, we store in our bodies and we convert to energies when we really need it. But again, we eat far too much. With the consequence, it damages our bodies over time. Levels of hypertension or high blood pressure, levels of diabetes, levels of overweightness or obesity in our community are way above other communities' levels. And we can, and I urge you, we must do something about it. Okay. And if in doubt, please go speak to your doctor, your GP, or whoever has access to your medical records. We urge you to do this for your sake. It is so vitally important that you take care of self, because all the doctors and nutritionists all recommend that you should eat far more fruits and vegetables. Most certainly fruits and most certainly vegetables, particularly green vegetables, but a broad range of vegetables, okay, as the base for your diet every day. Okay, because your body can convert that into blood and all the other and what you are and what you see before you. You know? It is also vital that you drink appropriate amount of water. Okay, water, we are more than 75% water. Okay, it is vital that you drink at least 2 to 3 liters, depending on your height and mass, okay, per day. If in doubt, please speak to your doctor, speak to your nutritionist or your pharmacist. Those who have access to your medical records are best placed to answer those questions. What is an appropriate amount of fruits and vegetables and water for you to consume on a daily basis to maintain a healthy lifestyle? Okay. This advice is given to you not because we're going to make a financial gain, but because it promotes healthiness and wellness within the community and potentially reduces the levels of obesity and the consequential illnesses that derive from those obesity. Okay. And of course, I've said it many times, far too many of our women are overweight. Okay. And you see the bloated bodies, bloated thighs. And yes, sometimes it has some appeal. I admit that. But actually, in the long term, the health consequences of no way outweigh the cosmetic or short-term appeal it might derive. So we simply ask you to consider this advice. Consume appropriate amount of fruits and vegetables, particularly green vegetables. Okay? Drink the appropriate amount of water, between 2 to 3 liters of water per day. But vital to all of this advice is that it's important, absolutely crucial, that you exercise. Exercise is crucial. And if you're not used to exercising, if you can afford it, go to a gym, and ask for advice as to what is the right exercise routine. But many of you have access to the internet, of course. Okay? You can go onto the internet, look at standard exercise routines that you can engage. Okay? But exercise is important, where you're able to work your body so you at least begin to sweat. I have sweated this morning and I feel so much better for it, so alive for it. Okay, it is absolutely vital that you exercise. Eating the right foods, drinking the right quantity of water, but not exercising kind of defeats the whole purpose of the process. Human beings are made to exercise, to work your body, to stretch your muscles. Yeah? Oh, and I've got my weights here. Oh, I don't emphasize my weights. Yeah, stretch your muscles, You've got to stretch your muscles. Yeah, keep doing this. You start to sweat, Because, I live one of those lifestyles where I work in an office, So consequently, often I'm not given the opportunity to stretch my muscles, This is absolutely vital, what I'm doing right now. I'm stretching my muscles and using those muscles. Otherwise, they become weak. And what happens when they become weak? I suffer a physiological decline. And many of you will understand what I mean by the physiological decline. And that means there's a reduced immune system. In other words, you become vulnerable to all the maladies in the world, all the bacteria and viruses. Yeah, you become prone to general illnesses. If you're not taking deliberate steps to promote your health. So I simply urge you, please, to consider this advice. And lastly, it is so important. You should take care of your mental and spiritual health. Okay? Your mental health, if in doubt, seek professional advice. I say again, if in doubt, seek professional advice. Okay? I, for one, meditate as a means to calm my mind, okay, to center my energy, and to be able to focus my thoughts, okay, and prepare myself for the days ahead, okay. Why? Usually in the morning I'm very bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, I feel so alive by that time, okay. And of course, one's spiritual health, and you just heard the wonderful Empress Abner discuss her faith and her ability to focus on her faith. Taking care of one's spiritual health is as important as all the other advice we've given to you today. I hope you find those words useful. And I know, based on the responses I've had, the repetition, I know from many, and even equally from me, I can assure you, is beneficial, because you're reminded of what we need to do to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Healthiness and wellness are an integral part of mental life and optimistic human being. I commend the advice to you. If in doubt, speak to your doctors, speak to your GP, speak to your nutritionist, your pharmacist, or whoever has access to your medical record. It is vital. This advice is vital to you. And I'll pause there. My inverse. Is that fair enough? Oh, my everything yourself. Oh, she's got a smile in the background there. I'm not sure she hears what's going on. That's okay. Let me now move on. In today's show, what we want to do is to focus on the future. Our future, your future, is of course, on this audio. I'm doing too loud, sorry. Oh, thank you. That's easier. Thank you, okay, that's easier. Okay. Last week, it was the same thing. Abaddon was consistently higher than you. Okay, I can see that here on my screen. That way, I've just adjusted my mic volume. I'm trying to be very careful with my mic volume. There you are. But that should make all the difference now. There you are. That's made all the difference, I'm sure. Thank you, my caller. Yeah, that's made all the difference. Yeah, I've got it. Don't worry. I've got the problem now. I appreciate the call. Thank you. Oh, yeah, I've solved the problem now. Thank you for that. I just needed that feedback to get it right. Empress Abner, can you hear us still?
I can hear you.
Oh, good. Now, my Empress. Now, so today's show will focus on the future. And of course, our future are, of course, my Empress, our children. Yeah. I like the way she said, oh, she said, oh. Though your son, hopefully, if he were listening, well, you never know. They're our future.
He's probably sleeping. He's probably sleeping.
I know. And it's such an important subject, because preparing our children for the future is the greatest task we as parents have. And to enable them to come up to be upstanding men and women, okay, who we've been able to provide the best possible education. We've also been able to provide for them opportunities for employment and for personal growth. Mm-hmm. And what we hope is that as a result of our work with our children, our commitment, our love for our children, that they are able to become upstanding, as I say, men and women of the community and contribute positively to the community. But then, of course, there's a group of our children who will see our land of our birth, or those countries that represent our ethnic origins, as being a vital part of who they are as boys and girls, young men and young women. Okay. And it's that group of young people that I want to focus on today, because they represent the future. Okay. I'm just going to put up my caption for today. And those of you who receive the caption, okay, will understand what I'm about to say. We want to talk about the youth, okay, and identify priorities for investment in our youth, the youth. Yeah? And this is priorities for government investment in youth, young people, if you like. I've cited education being the greatest gift that we can ensure they receive, a good education. Then, of course, the opportunities for job training, or skills, if you like. Mm-hmm. Ensuring they acquire the right skills and can secure the right jobs. Okay. And just coincidentally enough, in terms of my own political paths, it is my portfolio to promote jobs, to promote skills, to promote apprenticeships or internships amongst the young specifically. Of those who are innovative and have got that mindset, for them to enter into business, therefore access to capital or business loans is critical. And if we ensure that our young people receive these levels of support, then we are preparing and securing them for the future. We are securing the future. And your work, my Empress, in local schools, of course, is the foundation work. It is absolutely the foundation work that secures the future for our children. So understanding what the family needs are, and therefore what the child needs are, and supporting them through their challenges is a vital piece of work. If those children are to go into adulthood with all the opportunities most children might possess. I know, my Empress, you are engaging families who need support every day, and that's why I always like to ask you, how was your week? Were there any highlights that you want to share with us?
Highlights of the week.
Yeah.
Oh no! To be honest, the highlight of the week was going to visit my son's secondary school, which was they put on a performance for us. So they played Luther Vandross, Michael Jackson on steel pans. on saxophones, and I was like, I've never seen such a talented bunch of children in a very long time. The presenters were like Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, and you could tell they were about year 8 or year 9, but the charisma, the confidence was, it was mind-blowing. And, you know, obviously I'm very anxious about my son going to secondary school with everything that happens with young people. But when I went to the school and the way the staff interacted with parents, sorry. It was just amazing. Like, you know, I've never seen so many short year 6s in my life. But other than that, like the interactions with the staff and the concert that they performed, and obviously Ramadan was the next day, so I had to leave early. And my son was like, "You're such an embarrassment. You think you own the school the way you're walking around it." And I was like, "No, we need to get ready for Ramadan, so I need to leave." But it was that, I think for me, that was the highlight of the week. And then my son felt so much at ease, made me feel better. And I think, you know, like I say to parents, if your child is going to secondary school and they're in year 5, when their children start year 5, that is the best time to visit schools, and then go in year 6 as well, because at least you can compare the difference after going the first time. So I think for me, that was the highlight of the week. I did get some sad news about my families, but, you know, again, that happens with the job. But I think definitely that's the highlight of my week, to be honest. I think.
Because one of our young guests has arrived already. You know, bless you, my English.
That's nice. I like punctual people because I'm not a punctual person, so I like punctual.
Okay. But you know what? I did want to say this because true African time is more precise than the Swiss.
No, I disagree.
No. I
disagree. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not taking any of that. Yeah. True African time is more precise than the Swiss. I will never concede.
If you say so.
I would never concede to any suggestion that we are not able to be on time, because at least one of our guests has arrived before time.
Mashallah, I'm very happy, but I'm telling you, as a fellow African, true-blooded, not born in the motherland, but British African, you can ask my friends if they say Amina or Abina, be there at 1 o'clock. I'm there at 3 p.m. So I know.
Okay, let me respond to that. As me, as a true-born African man, I'm very rarely. I do occasionally turn up late, but that's for good reason. But I turn up on time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring my guest in. Okay, let's bring the guest in, because why?
They can laugh at my African timing.
Oh, no. He's going to tell us otherwise. I'm sure. He's a very confident young man. We're going to hear from our futures. There we go. We don't often have this opportunity. Oh, my. Oh, look at he looks so bright, doesn't he?
God, he looks so much better than me. In the morning, it must be a man.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. But this is the usual look.
Well, I'm able to say Ramadan Mubarak to you.
Yeah, that's correct. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
There you are. And of course, it is. You're going to support my position that we Africans.
I have to support both of you on this one. I have to support both of you.
Go on.
For events and social gatherings, I put my hands up. I have to be late. By force, I have to be late because everyone else is going to be late.
100%.
But for work and other professional gatherings, on time. Because those are the people I can rely on to be on time.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to accept that as a response. And I say this to you, both of you. If we are to change a custom and practice, you have to be the change maker. So I make every effort whenever I'm attending an African gathering like you. I turn up before time. always turn up before time. Because African time is a mentality, remember, it's a mentality, is more precise than the Swiss. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The first civilization is founded in Mother Africa. First people to look at the stars and develop astrology was from Mother Africa. The first lives of Mother Africa. The mathematicians of Mother Africa from good reasons. Is that not true, man? Is that not true? For good reason. Is that not true? Good reason. Okay. This is civilization, see. This is civilization. So, my dear young man, okay, I really use
Martin, your voice has gone funny again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go robotic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amadine, did you are you fasting? Okay, so
100%,
you're up early again, like me. Okay, then Ramadan Mubarak.
It's going well so far. It's easier to start than all the other years for some reason.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with you. Yeah.
My sleeping schedule's all over the place now because I'm done. It's all over the place.
Yeah, my son's doing the first time he's starting to fast properly in the beginning, so he's finding
He's experiencing it. He's experiencing it. Yeah. We've all been there.
Yeah, so it's interesting, and he's been doing PE as well still. So I'm really shocked. So
what year is he in? Because
he's in year 6.
okay, so the big boy primary.
Yeah, the big boy. Yeah.
So Martin, your voice is still
Robotic. Yeah.
Yeah, robotic.
So Amadine, you want to tell me about your background? What you do? Where you
I'm 22, Somali background. Born and raised here, but okay. In my youth, I used to go back to Kenya a lot.
Okay.
So due to that, I can speak 3 languages: English, Somali, and Swahili.
Oh, wow.
Basically, only Somali I would say I don't speak fluently, but the other 2 I speak fluently.
Okay.
I went to secondary school here, firstly in Woolwich, then in Surrey Keys, and then went college. Now I'm in university, currently taking a gap year. I'm going back to finish in September, and then that's the story of my life so far.
Wow.
I studied business marketing.
Brilliant.
I have to say engineering. You look like an engineer.
I don't have the energy and the stress management for that.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not sorry for that.
How recently did you travel to Africa, and which country? And you said you were able to speak the language, but how recently did you travel to Africa?
I traveled last month, February, for my cousin's wedding.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, and that's the first time I've been there since I was around 14. So it's been a couple of years since I've been there.
And what did you find most interesting about the country?
I don't know how to answer that one word for word with the question that you asked, but it was more of a shock and a reality check, because the last time I was in Kenya was when I was a kid, so I had no understanding. All I just knew was fun, and listen to what the adults say when you come back home. But now when you go back when you're older and you have your own decision, or you have your own free will to do what you want and see how it is, I realize how big of a community now. I was in Nairobi. How big of a community Nairobi is, and like physically, what I found most interesting there was the weather. The weather. It's never rainy. It's never windy. It's never cold. It's all sunny. The when you wake up, the when you go sleep. So that I loved, and there is a lot of things that are interesting about Kenya, but we can be here for a long time. sure you guys
Give
know.
us a few interesting facts. Give us a few interesting facts that you observe. Yeah.
A few interesting facts. Oh,
Amadine, I was just going to say, I know a lot of Somalis live in Kenya because my friend's mum lives in Kenya. So sometimes
yeah.
I died in Kenya. There's certain parts of Yemen. So different parts of. Why is that? Just out of curiosity for me.
Geographically, is because it's right next to Somalia, Kenya. They share the same border. So I think back in when there was a civil war in the past, the majority of the Somalis fled to the nearest country, which were Tanzania, Kenya, Ethiopia, and they just settled there, and generations came and just moved there.
Okay, it's good to know.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, if I finish on to the next question, I understand that you want to return to Africa to live. Well, now, what skills do you want to gain before returning to the motherland, Africa?
I thought about this question, and the only thing that can come to my mind was money management.
Okay.
The reason I say this is because when I went in February, I took a budget with me of around £300 for 2 weeks. Because I was there for 2 weeks. Yeah, I was thinking maybe I'll go to a villa, enjoy myself. But I'll tell you this firsthand: the £300 was gone within the first week, and that's not due to just expenses. That's because when you go there, you realize the amount of people that are unfortunate and they don't have money, because Nairobi is an expensive place to live with not a lot of income going into people's pockets. So when I went there, I had family members asking me for money. People on the streets, late night, they're hungry, they have kids with them. I was shocked. So out of the kindness of my heart, I was just giving money here, there, money there, money there, money there. And the money just went. So I think money management is priority number one for me if I want to live there. If I want to reside there, then money management has to be top of the list for me.
Okay. And what's the next one on your list if you were to live in Kenya in this case?
I think how to interact more with people. Because here in the UK, there's people from every there's a diverse amount of people, and Kenya there is, but I don't know how to word this properly.
It's okay. Just take your time. Don't worry. Take your time.
No, it's, I think Kenya is very diverse as well, and the ability to read people. Because in Kenya, first of all, there's a majority of people with all intentions, and you have to know how to pick them out of the litter. And I think that is how to learn how to read people and knowing their intentions. It's very hard to do, but it's something you have to learn to have a skill on, and I think that will help me.
Thank you. That's you're a young man with a very mature head. Huh?
I appreciate that.
Very mature.
Good to see that. Good to see that.
Yeah. So you still want to go back?
Yes, I still do. It's more. It used to be 100% when I first came back, but now it's more 70-30.
Yes.
I feel if I go visit again, which I plan to in the summer, it will shift towards 80-20, 90-10. Yes. And then 100% in the future.
Of course. So, in terms of your skills that you might want to take back to Africa, to Kenya, what skills do you think are most needed in the country?
In the country?
Yeah. What if you're going back? What skills do you think that would be most beneficial there? Is it for farming? Is it technology, the tech sector, or the civil service? What do you think are the skills they most need? You could contribute. You think?
Technology is one of them. And business skills is one of them.
Yes.
in Kenya, there's a lot of young people with degrees, but no jobs.
Yes.
So creating businesses, learn how to make businesses, online businesses, physical business, whatever it is, will help the country and the young people there, because the older generation, they're used to the physical labor, but the younger generation, they look to the Westworld and they see all these sorts of business that you can form. Like, for example, when I spoke to my cousin who's around a year older than me. She has her own online business that she started up. And honestly, when I went there, I didn't think anyone knew about online business when I was in Kenya. So, because I started my own one like a couple months ago. So I was shocked. And so we had something to talk about. And she had her own online business. Her younger sister had her own business. And her older brother, they all had their own business. So did their friends. And that just opened my eyes and thinking, that made me think that every young person there, if they knew how to run business, they can make the country so much better. Run businesses, invest in technology, go into farming, make the country
Yes.
a more economical place.
Wonderful, wonderful. And have you maintained that correspondence with them in terms of sharing new ideas?
Yeah, 100%. I'm in communication with them every day.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you finding that young people like you at your age are receptive to your ideas?
100%, because it's thanks to social media, honestly.
Yes.
It's actually thanks to social media, because we all see the world at the same time. We see different things. We all have the same understanding of everything, and they can see what I see. I can see what they see from anywhere across the world. So it actually helps. We have shared knowledge.
Mm-hmm. And tell us, do you think the government are doing enough to support young people?
That I can't comment on, because I don't know how the Kenyan government works properly.
No, I understand you. So, if other young people are viewing this show now, what advice would you give to them?
Young people from the UK.
Yes, from the UK.
First, I would advise them to just take a holiday to the motherland first. Stay there for a week or two, because I just can't give them words. They will just receive it, and the moment they leave the room, they'll forget about it. So I would just tell them, book a holiday in the summer, 1-2 weeks. Go Kenya, go South Africa, go Uganda, go any of these countries.
Mm-hmm.
I see firsthand how it is and how you feel about it, your honest feeling, because how the media perceives Africa and how you see Africa through social media is actually a false. It's false.
Yes.
And when you go there, you actually see the honest truth and how beautiful it is, how nice the people are, how up to date with the Westworld it is.
Yes.
And it's not behind at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that will shock them. And they'll come back with a more refined idea and better understanding of Kenya.
Wonderful, wonderful. So your recent visit, has it inspired you to study with even greater vigor, with determination?
100%. 100%.
Wow.
100%.
Describe that feeling you now have, the desire to learn, to study, to acquire skills. Just give us some idea of how it feels now. Give us some idea how it feels.
The feeling before was I wasn't really motivated to go to university and follow up with my degree, to be honest with you. I started losing motivation for it. And then that's because I was too comfortable in this world, in this country first. And when I went to Kenya, it was for enjoyment purposes, and then I end up seeing how people who are not fortunate like I am, how they're living there with no education and how they're still going by day-to-day life.
Yes.
And then I saw the other side, the people who focus on their education. In the UK, they focus in the UK and they move there, and how they're living and how they're affecting people there. And it really opened my eyes. And then I was like, if they can do it, why can't I? So yeah, exactly. So I came back, and the motivation came. Since I've come, I've just been doing non-stop assignments that are due in 2-3 months.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
You'll be working harder. Yeah.
Really have. Yeah.
Good. Because you can see the future. Yeah, you can see a future in Africa. Yes.
I definitely can. Yes.
Wow. Wow.
It's inspiring, very inspiring to know, because we're in schools now and we're trying to teach children how to budget and save money and invest in money. And I don't think it should have started in secondary school. It should start in primary school as well. And even with my son, I say to him, no, I'm not using my money. You've saved money. Use your money to get stuff, because I want him to understand the value of money.
Exactly.
Because children, for myself speaking, I never understood the value of money until I started working and the outgoings. And even as an adult, I'm still getting to grips with it. But I think it's so important. And like, I had a child that left last year in my school. She has her own business teaching children how to crochet.
Oh,
So
wow.
start them younger, you know, it can open up doors for many young people. And I think that's very, very important in London, because nobody wants to work for anybody nowadays. Everybody wants to work for themselves. And I think if you can start at a young age, the possibilities are endless. Definitely. And I think you'll be one of them, Ahmadin, if we're not too careful. You'll be making some possibilities for us.
I'm very confident that you, sir. I'm very confident that you, sir. What other messages would you give to young people? You said they should visit, most certainly visit, and get to know the country. What about the languages? You mentioned earlier on that you can speak the local languages. Just tell us about languages, why languages is so important.
Okay, this just going from an experience that I had when I went in February recently. I went with a group of four men and a groom. So none of them could speak Swahili at all.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I was the only one out of the four that could speak Swahili.
Oh, wow.
And I saw how day to day they were struggling to engage in conversation. It got to the point they were thinking, oh, do I want to go there? I have to speak to them. What if they don't know English? And so forth.
Yeah.
And then I told them before on the flight there, I speak Swahili fluently. So if you need anything, just let me. I'll take you anywhere you need. I'll converse with anyone for you.
Mm-hmm.
Getting there, every conversation, restaurant, we'll book somewhere to go, and any sort of form of event, I was the one speaking, and it got us out of a lot of money hustling groups out there.
100%.
Because if you speak English only, they will try take advantage. Some people will try to take advantage and charge you a bit more extra. So me speaking Swahili has actually helped me get in touch with the people there and understand I'm one of them. When they know you're one of them, they treat you better. They treat you better.
100%.
It helps your day-to-day life there easier.
Yeah, exactly like it is in Ghana. If you can speak the language, you won't get hustled at all.
Yeah.
So just so I'm clear then, sir, I mean, is it that you are self-taught, or did your parents teach you the language? How did you learn to speak, for example, Swahili?
I learned when I was a kid, when I was in Kenya, because I used to visit regularly. And certain times I'll stay there for 2, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months. So I was there for a long period of time. And it just came to learn it from hearing other people speak and being taught whilst I was there. I can't give you a name to who taught me personally, but it was a lot of people.
So in other words, you absorbed it over time.
Yeah.
I think we've got a call on the line here. Hold on a second. Call on the line, 9976.
Yeah, we're still missing a few of your words.
Yeah, I know on my end. I know what's causing at my end, but the
Okay.
I know it's my end. I know. Don't worry. Thank you. Yeah. Don't worry. Thank you. I'm looking at it now. Thank you very much. Yep. Thank you. All right. There you go. See, we've got some anxious listeners there, Aberdeen. They want to hear you. Trust me, they want to hear you.
Oh, is there something wrong with my mic or?
No. I think it's my end. There's a slight issue here at my end.
Oh, okay.
We're getting better. It's just that there's a slight issue so often. But anyway, they definitely want to hear you. You see, because what you are providing is inspiration for many people, both young and old. Okay, because you're providing first-hand account of what it is like to travel and to experience Africa, in this case, Kenya. Okay? So our questioning is really important. So the issue of the language is, I think, quite important. Okay? So you said you acquired that knowledge as a result of your parents taking you to Kenya on a regular basis, at least once a year, I imagine.
That's correct.
That's right. Okay, so maybe that's a lesson for all of us here. You know, those of us who live in England or Britain, that we should make sure our children visit Africa at least once a year. Okay, okay. So that's the first lesson. And the second lesson, of course, let's talk about the locals. Okay, how do locals respond to you when they know that you're from overseas or from England or from London? How do they respond to you?
I'm laughing because I know what he's going to say. I'm laughing because I know what he's going to say.
When they hear from London, they think money grows on trees.
Yeah.
They really do. But they've become more understanding now. I told them the UK is not the dreamland that you guys think it is. I told them you'd be more shocked to know that people want to move here than people want to move there back to the UK. And but the locals there, they're lovely people. Great sense of community. They all have a sense of family.
Yes.
So even if you go to them and you engage with them, funny enough, my cousin who lives in Kenya, he told me if you go out and you don't know who to go talk to or where to go, just go to someone and say bro. You become best friends instantly. So I tried it and it works. It works. And you go to someone, you say, bro, where can I get this drink? Where can I get this? He will take you. I was shocked myself. I've never done something like this in UK. Goes up to someone, say, where can I go to get something? And they take you personally.
Right.
Yeah, it was a shock to me, but it was lovely. It was lovely.
Okay. I think that's a really beautiful story. In other words, local people want to cooperate with you.
Yeah, they love to help. Yeah.
I think that's so we talk about the locals. So what about you mentioned that quite a number are with qualification but no jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see particular sectors in Kenya that if you have the right training, the right preparation, that you believe you could see growth in if you pursue that sector, in particular industry or commercial sector? Any sectors you've seen that you can stay here, get the qualifications, and in Kenya you could make a go of it?
Property law.
Uh-huh.
Or law of any degree.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a degree here regarding law, if you go Kenya and decide to live your life there,
Yes.
you'll get a job. You get the highest paying jobs instantly. I believe it.
Wonderful.
Because there's always a demand for proper. The property is on the rise in Kenya and Nairobi. When I went there, I saw that firsthand. There's a property being built. And every property needs a property lawyer.
Right.
So that job, I feel, will be in demand, and any form of law, because law is practiced everywhere in the world.
Yes, yes. Brilliant. And I've got to ask you this question because I'm a father. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I think about grandchildren, you see. You know. What about did you get a potential wife in Kenya? I know you might
Leave him alone. He's asking.
Yeah, I can ask him.
I've had a potential wife. Maybe next time I go. Unfortunately, this time was a failed attempt. So next time, hopefully.
Well, let's hope so, you know.
Yeah.
He's still young. He's got time. Inshallah, he's got time. You know, there's no rush. Let him do what he wants to do in Africa. The wife will come naturally. You know.
Exactly.
Money, the wife.
Oh,
you know, I was going to ask you: do you think it is important to keep your mother tongue? Because obviously, I've lost mine. So, but I'm trying to instill it back. Obviously, he's learning Arabic, so he's becomes a bit more multilingual. But do you really think, because a lot of young people, when they do come here or when they're in British schools, they will say, I don't really want to keep my mother tongue because, you know, everyone speaks English and stuff like that. But do you think it's very important to hold on to your mother tongue?
I believe so, 100%. My mother tongue is Somali, and that's not something I'm very fluent in. And when I go out into the Somali community, I'm reminded of that because they speak fluent Somali. And I'm there, I'm mumbling my words, trying to piece sentences together, but it's something I'm learning to do, and my dad is helping me a lot with that. But Swahili is language I speak fluently, which I consider my mother tongue now as well because I've been there for so many years. For my kids, when I become older, hopefully, I'm gonna instill into them 100% because I just know the importance. If they decide to go back to Kenya or Somalia, they'll feel at ease and they'll be able to communicate with anyone because English is not the only language in the world. People need to remember that. And there's a lot more languages, and Swahili and Somali is one of them. And you have to know if you're from that country and want your kids to understand where you come from.
And this is what you now relate is a really important part of why I wanted to have you here. Okay, because I know your mother very well. Okay, I know her very, very well. A truly inspired African woman, truly inspired, and I need not hesitate anymore on that. But understanding where you come from, where your roots are, you know, gives you what? What is it giving you? Understanding where you come from, where your roots are. What's it done to you to have that knowledge?
It gave me an understanding of who I am, and it kept me rooted. Knowing who I am and where I come from, and seeing the place it's given me a sense of humility.
Good.
And it doesn't make me feel like one of those kids that feel like they have their own, how do I put it, their own selfish needs and demands. Because I come from a place where I've seen people with less become someone with more.
Yes.
So that sense of knowing, it kept me humbled, and I just don't only know the West. And knowing that, it really keeps you grounded.
With that in mind, you would have, in this country, of course, you would have met Africans from many parts of the continent and from the Caribbean and other places. What would be your key message to them if to become upstanding men and women? What would you say to them they need to do? First steps.
What they need to do.
Yeah, go on. You just say it how you feel it. It doesn't matter. Don't need to intellectualize it. Just say it how you feel it.
That's a hard one. Hard to become outstanding citizens.
Just tell them. You're inspiring them right now through your words. Just tell them what you see for yourself. What has inspired you that you think might inspire others?
What makes me become outside citizen and I hopefully relates to them is the fear of consequence.
Yeah.
The fear of consequence, because people's actions are based on emotions, and if they remember the consequences of those emotions afterwards, it will stop them from doing a lot of stuff. Before I do anything now, I always try to think of the consequences that will happen, and plan and think of outcomes that will happen. Would that lead to this? Would that lead to that? And that really slows me down and helps my thinking process and makes me make the best possible decisions. And most of them are society based. And should I do that? Should I chase him to all those sorts of things? He swore at me. Should I get back at him? Those little triggers, those emotional triggers that people have that really results in antisocial behavior will really be helped if people think about the consequence before I know it's hard, but it's something that has to be trained and learned.
Wonderful. Again, for such a young man, you have a very wise head.
I appreciate that.
I have to say, that's very wise words, very wise words. Do you mind if I were to open the phone lines, officially open the phone line? Would you mind taking a call or two from maybe a young person or others who might be inspired by your work? Would that be all right for maybe 5 to 10 minutes?
All right, no problem. No problem.
So I'm going to officially open the phone line. Okay. I want to encourage particularly young people, but others, it doesn't matter, others can call as well, but particularly young people who've been inspired by Amanine's village. To study, he has a reason to study. Yeah, he has a reason to study. Sorry, I can see my signal come back again, by the way. Am I being heard all right? Have I been heard?
Yes, now we can hear you. Yeah.
So you have a reason, so you visited, you've been inspired, and that inspiration has resolved that you were able to study with even greater vigor. Because you now have a reason to do so. Okay.
That's true.
I think that's a powerful message to communicate, particularly to the young, okay, and particularly those who call themselves, he says, Pan-Africanists. Okay, you understand the terminology, and of course, very rarely visit Africa. Okay, but you've also made some interesting observation about young people in this country, Britain, to think about the consequences of their actions. Because as young people, often they don't think about the consequences of their action. So I'm going to open the phone line in a moment. And one of the actions I've noticed, my guest last week was affected by it. That is particularly amongst males, your age and around your age. Okay, this competitiveness. Okay, do you think there's a lot of competition amongst young boys, young men like yourself at the moment, and that creating problems for us?
Yes, there is. There's a lot of competition, and I'm not just simply yes, simply yes. I don't know how to elaborate on it, but there is a lot of competition. There is a lot of competition. A majority of them want to go to the same field.
Yes.
So there is a lot of competition there as well.
Yes, I understand you, and I do understand because my guest was with us last week. We talked about it in advance. Competition among particularly males, okay, and what it leads to. I suppose maybe if I first of all, in fact, let me open the phone line officially. So if you want to interact with my guest, okay, who I'm going to refer to as being an inspired young man, who has visited Africa and has truly become inspired, okay? And his aspirations are the aspirations I've got to tell you, when I was a young man, I may have had a few of them, okay? But, honestly, I didn't have the opportunity to visit the motherland as frequently as you had, okay? So I'm going to take my hat off to your mother and father, okay? Honestly.
I'm going to take off as well.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So let me open the phone line officially. So those of you who wish to interact with us, okay, and feel that you want to offer commentary or ask a question of my guest, please feel free to do so. Now, the number to call, if you're in the UK, is 0208 133 5616. I'll repeat, 0208 133 5616. If you're overseas, of course, you simply take the plus sign off, the first zero off, plus 44 208 133 5616. Now, I'm also waiting for a few other young people who haven't yet. Let me check my phone a second. Haven't yet called in yet, which I'm expecting them to arrive by now. But this simply goes to show when you have a strong parent. It goes to show when you have a strong parent. You're here on time. In fact, before time. Okay. There's some lessons there. Let me tell you. By the way, let me not see that at the moment. But so I've opened up the phone line. So I welcome I welcome viewers or listeners' thoughts on what you've heard so far. Okay, this is the young man who's visited Africa regularly, has been inspired. He went through a period where he wasn't really focused on his studies, but now has become inspired and is now redoubling his studies. See, shaking his head, absolutely, yeah, affirmation. Okay, he's inspired and now desires, once he completes his studies, to return to Africa. You know, there have been many songs I'm from the Caribbean, many songs where we talk about returning to Africa, you know, many songs, and far too many have never visited Africa. Let me tell you, okay? So to hear someone speak with such passion about the continent, about the place, oh yeah, that is truly inspirational. So the phone lines are officially open, and those of you who receive a WhatsApp message personally are also able to interact with Ahmadine via WhatsApp. Just simply return the call via WhatsApp, okay? And I can then connect you to him. Okay. So,
Ahmadine, can I ask you, who are your role models?
Who are my role models?
Yeah, who are your role? Because everyone has a role model and someone that makes them passionate about what they do, or it could be just you yourself. But who are your role models?
Funny enough, yeah, I've never thought about this. Funny enough, I've never thought who's my role model because I'm the older sibling. So,
okay.
Yeah, so it's weird.
So you're gonna lead by example, then you're gonna be the leader.
That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've got to applaud you. I applaud you.
Mashallah, that's really good to hear, because there's not enough, I think, young people from our community that are trying to do things back home, and it's nice to know that there are, you know, young people that are going back home and they're trying to implement something there. It's nice, because some of us wait till our 30s, our 40s, and our 50s to go back home, and then, you know, like I keep saying to my son, we need to go back and you need to see what Ghana's like. But we're not only just from Ghana, we're from a few spots around West Africa, so hopefully in the next couple of years we'll be hitting those places as well.
Inshallah.
Yeah, God willing, inshallah.
And that will happen. And it is an interesting discussion at this point, but of course, often it's the opportunity to go. Often it's a cost barrier, or at least not, but you are of the continent. Yeah, it's you need to be able to stay with people that you feel safe with. Okay, which is the other issue that comes to play. And then thirdly, of course, potential language barrier, which is why we talked to you about language. Are you able to tell us, and maybe your parents would have taught you this, or what you may have experienced, are there particular cultural highlights that you might want to point out to us that gives Kenya that special feel, any culture or traditions or special occasions?
I think to see the culture and the tradition, you have to leave the capital city.
Okay.
To see it properly, you have to go to the outskirts. I'm pretty sure you guys know what the Maasai is. That's one of the cultures of Kenya, and the Maasai people and their beads and what they wear. That got taken, and you're seeing a lot of clothing now. So the culture is ingrained everywhere you go. If you go to any African country, you no one has to tell you what the culture is. You just see it firsthand. You can just notice it off the rip, and you can just see it straight away.
Yes. And so, in fact, seeing the culture and it being expressed in that way gives you a sense of certainty. Would that be right?
Yes, that's correct.
And tell me, young people you see here, particularly those who are not from the continent, do you see that as being a potential deficiency in terms of how they think about themselves, that they're not seeing their culture being expressed in the manner which you've had the opportunity to see?
Yeah, certainly. They don't see the culture that I've seen in the motherland. They don't see it back here. The parents and the older generation try to as well as they can, but rarely do the two, apart from being in the house, actually engage in conversation. I know that from first hand. So it would be difficult for them to know the culture. But saying that, for me, the Somali community, it's a very tight knit community.
Yes.
Okay, so even the Somalis my age, they tend to go towards Somalis their age as well,
Okay.
and the culture is there. They have a sense of they know who they are, where they come from, and basically the culture, and they know they know it not in and out, but they know it to a certain extent. How to make the jokes back that they'll make back home, back here, what they will eat back home, they'll eat here,
Yes.
and how they act there, they'll act here in some way.
Yes, I completely understand. And if adults like myself were to make a contribution to help young people to regain that sense of self, what do you think adults like myself should do to help them?
As a what? Sorry.
Yeah, what do you think adults like myself should do to help those young people who don't have that cultural grounding? What do you think? What are the main contributions we can help them to regain that sense of cultural certainty? What do you think we should do?
The usual have a culture day.
Yes.
Bring the group just do a different approach and target. Let's say you bring 50 Nigerians and have a culture day specifically for them for a select day, rather than having different cultures all in one little table and then people have to learn about different cultures. Make one group focus on their culture, and I think that will help to a certain extent. And then when the funds get a bit bigger, you take them abroad to their motherland, because that's what's the best place to learn culture than the place where culture comes from itself, and then they will learn there firsthand.
Wow. Now that's a very interesting observation. Have culture days, yeah, around specific cultures.
But we do have that in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
We have like Mauritius in the park, Ghana in the park. I don't know if any of you have been to those things where they talk about the culture. It's like a whole event. The Queen of from certain villages, they show you how to do dancing. We have traditional food. We have like tickets going away to Ghana, so you can draw a prize draw. So there's so much. They have bags, costumes, clothes. They show you how to wrap the clothing on your body. So there are things in, I don't know, specific countries, but there are things like that. And I think it's also but what you do in the home as well. Like it definitely, I can still go to my mum's house and she barely speaks to me in English unless she's angry, you know, but most of the time she speaks in our language. And like my son, his grandma on his dad's side, my mum's side, they both still speak to him. You know, my cousin does as well. And I think because as much as I'm also Ghanaian first before anything, my name is transparent in the culture that I'm in. So Ahmadin said, it's what you do at home that's really important.
And it is interesting. It's always a bit of an interesting area. Are you a Muslim first, then your national identity, or does your culture come first? I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'm not going to do that.
No, mine is a very clear and simple answer. Mine is a very clear and simple answer.
Go ahead.
I'm Somali, and Somali and Islam are ingrained.
Okay.
You can't be one without the other.
Okay.
So for me, it's simple. Whether you want one to come first or the other to come first, they will still both come first in some house in some way. But if I was to put one, I'll probably Oh, that's a tough one. I'll probably say it's my religion over my race. So I'll say Islam over Somali first for me.
I understand. I do understand, and that's why I didn't want to put you on the spot. But these are self-actualization. This is a process you go through as you go through your life. So it is interesting to hear your dialogue on this. Okay. So within your community, of course, is like all communities. You're made up of tribes or sub-communities within the wider community. Which part of Somalia is your family from?
We're from my mom, Somalia.
Yes. Do you say Somalia?
Yeah. We're from Somalia, but my knowledge of Somalia is absolutely small. I'll tell you that. Absolutely minimal. I can't even tell you what city they're from.
Okay.
That's how little my knowledge is of Somalia. I can't.
Okay. And Kenya, in that case, then you said you're near the borders.
Yeah. Okay. My grandma was from a city called Kargi, which is the villages, and then my mom's from there, so that's where she comes from, originally from, and then majority of the family, they come from it's I won't say village, like a small city.
Yes.
On the outskirts, in the middle of Kenya, geographically, right in the middle of Kenya, called a little city called Isiolo.
Yes.
And and they used to have the easy living back then. But then when the money became tighter, the situation became harder, they moved all to the capital city and made life right there.
I understand you. I'm going to bring you back to the UK now, then, and I just want to just share with the audience the subject you're studying and why you like these subjects. Give us some idea of the subject you're currently studying.
Right now, I'm studying business marketing at university.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yes, and to be honest with you, it was a bit of an impulsive decision when I was in college. Because I was doing business in college, and of all my 3 A-level grades, that's the one I got the best result in.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. So I just thought, let me pursue that. And once you start, there's no going back. And I'm 2.5 years in deep now.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. And whatever help and support we can offer, you have our help and you have our support at all times.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And I sincerely mean it. I've got to say, I sincerely mean it.
I'll take you up on that.
He does mean it as well. He really does.
Don't worry. I have his number. I'll take him up on that. I'll take him up on that.
As I said before, you have an inspired mother. You know, and with parents such as that, it's really difficult to fail. Very difficult.
It's a lot of pressure.
No, they're always there to support you, to encourage at all times. You know,
that's true.
The role of an outstanding parent, and you have outstanding parents. It's a contribution that we parents can make, ensuring that our children have a good education. Okay, that they're able to acquire skills or good job training. Okay,
100%.
And in your case, if they're inclined towards business, arrange, even got your own money, savings, give it to the children so they can develop their businesses, you know, so they can use it as a basis to raise capital from banks and so on. You know? Absolutely, that's our role as a parent. We're going to call on the line. Oh, God. I hope I'm not going to say the sounds off. 9976.
Yeah, what did you say you were studying? What you said of the thing?
Okay. Could you repeat what you were studying there?
Business marketing.
Ah, right. Okay.
Okay, come, don't go away just yet. Okay, well, you've been listening keenly. Okay, I'm going to ask you, caller, have you visited the motherland?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
Aries was the nearest.
There you are. So,
from there,
I'm sure you have a question for my guest. Come on now, come on. You must have a question. I knew you'd get bashful.
Your volume
Okay.
You're gonna have to chat to the technical staff.
But we'll have to chat to them, all right? Because I've done what I need to do with this. Okay. Well, I've turned mine even higher up now. Anyway, but thank you for your watching. Okay? Thank you. Okay.
Amadine, can I just ask you, if you wasn't going to do business marketing, what would be your backup plan? Because I always say to kids, you need a backup plan. So what would be your backup plan if business marketing didn't work out for you?
It's an important question. Very important question.
Always need a plan B, plan C. Tell that to my son.
I'll be honest, business marketing was plan B.
Yeah, okay.
It was plan B. It was plan B.
Okay, then.
Plan A was I applied for law.
Okay.
And what happened?
I didn't meet the requirements, unfortunately. I didn't meet the requirements, and but then I was offered a business. And then I applied for business. But no, when you go college, you guys know you can apply for different subjects for different unis at UCAS or UCAS. So I applied one for law, and I applied one for business marketing, and another one for business marketing, just to double down on business marketing. And then I ended up getting business marketing at University of Essex, and but that was plan B. So plan B came into effect quickly.
There you go. So it's business. So what you need is to at least start a business here, so you get in the habit of manage the business. And I'm going to be more than happy to help you. Okay, you know my other portfolio. Okay.
I don't know your portfolio. I don't know that. I know Southwark have some schemes on their services for helping young entrepreneurs and apprenticeships. I know Southwark does that. I don't know about the borough of Southwark, but yeah, I don't know about your other portfolio. So we'll have to have a conversation about that another time.
And those of you who are in London or live in Southwark, just for you, Amadine, as well, that of course I'm a cabinet member for Jobs, Businesses and Town Centre, the economic portfolio. Okay, and core to the portfolio is to support communities who have traditionally not been able to access the business and enterprise. Okay, so of course young men like yourself, particularly those who go to university, okay, gain the higher academic qualifications and are therefore have the academic skills, okay, but now need to translate that into practical skills, okay. We're here to help you, okay, and that's why I discussed the initial capital that you need, okay. With parents are obliged to give you that capital, but then you then seek match capital from the institution. Okay? By being able to frame a business proposal is what you're going to university to discover. Okay, but once you've been able to frame a proposal, a business proposal that a institution will fund, okay, you then have an opportunity to grow, so start and grow your business. And I'm very confident that I've spoken to your mother in the past that her son, her firstborn, you said you're the eldest, yeah?
Yes, I am.
Absolutely. And no pressure, of course. But
no pressure.
We want you to succeed.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, we want you to succeed. Okay, and whatever we can do, we will support you through to success. I've got a call on the line with number ending 1357. Good morning, caller. Good morning.
Good morning, the motivator. It's Brother Julius here.
Oh, good morning to you, Brother Julius. How are you this morning?
Well, I tell you what, I'm feeling beautiful.
You've heard my wonderful, inspiring young guest, have you?
Of course, yes. I like when I heard about young men. Well, I mean, the younger man is so actually visit the motherland, Mama Africa, and he got inspired by going to Africa. And all he want to do is actually improve his his academic state or university or college, something like that, to improve that. That is a beautiful anyway.
And do you have a question for him?
Yes. I mean, I was quite smooth actually. Because it's just like yesterday, another automobile was talking about the situation in Africa. But for the young man who goes to Africa, and you ask him a question at the beginning, it was saying, money management.
Oh, yes.
Is one of the problems. It's one of the things when they went to the motherland. And that was it to give me a bit of clue how what is this money management?
Can I just, before he responds to you, I think I can hear your mother in the background.
That's true, yeah.
No, it's okay. No, it's not you. It's not you, Judith. It's I think I can hear.
She's far away. This mic is very sensitive then because she's in another room, door closed. So.
Really? Okay. So that was an interesting question. He said he heard you say that money management was the first lesson you had to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Expand upon what you meant by that.
For me, in general life, I've been poor at money management, but here I could manage it a little bit, but my decision making when it comes to money is very poor, very very poor, and I spend what I see, and it's a bad habit, but it's a habit I developed, and I need to get rid of it. That's and I'm someone who tends to say yes more than no. And when I went to Kenya, when people asked me, it was very hard for me to say no. That's why I relate to money management. If I had money management, it will give me the bravery to say no to people some people when they ask you for money, or come up with a better plan for them to get money with this one on the long term rather than this one time that I'll just give you the money. So hopefully that elaborate for him.
No, that's fine. You have a big heart. You have empathy. That means you are a good human being.
I try to be.
A good human being. Brother Julius?
Yes. Of course, I'll follow up that question really. So there was a second one.
Go ahead.
But at the same time, actually, maybe in order to guide or to add on to what the young man is saying there,
yep.
I don't think it is false really about the money management today, because of what you have used to hear. I think the problem really is just in the motherland and the Caribbean land. We are focused on what they call money circulation.
Yes.
This is the problem. The money doesn't circulate. The system that's wrong in the continent and in the Caribbean islands, I think maybe we have that system to be like a communist system, so that everyone can have and everyone can get involved and get something. But I think that is where the problem is.
Okay.
It's not the individual like you who will maybe somebody has to ask you, because of the money shortage of people not having the money, they can't have the money to buy some of their food, they don't have money to do some of the agriculture work or things that they want to do. This is where the problem is.
I hear you.
If the gentleman can actually say he wants to help to improve that situation in Africa, I think that would be, we're talking about going to university or development, but Africa needs everything. Everything. In order to become like a community.
Okay. I'm going to leave it there for you, but thank you for that intervention. That was really quite insightful. See, I read it that he's taking a business degree and he will naturally acquire money management skills. In order to run a successful business, you have to manage the cash flow. Yeah. So, yeah. But I think what Ahmadine was actually saying is that he sees poor people who need money just to live, live from hand to mouth, and he had a big heart. So I say to him, you're just a human being with a big heart. You have empathy, and that's a good sign. Trust me, that's a good sign.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Brother Judith, thank you for the call.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ahmadine.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, I realise our time is coming very short now, so I'm going to. You are. First of all, I want to thank you because I know you're studying now. Okay. You're in the midst of your studies.
That's
and
true.
you're focused. Okay. I hope we're contributing to you being more focused.
You certainly are. Certainly are.
Okay. We want to inspire you towards success. We want you to be successful. Okay. So Empress Abner will speak for herself, but whatever I can do to help, I will more than gladly help you. Hands on heart.
I will take you up on that. I will take you up on that, as I said. I'll take you up on that. I'll take you up on that.
And if you don't keep your promise, it's a bad thing. You better keep your promise because I'll come down on you like a ton of bricks.
So you make a promise to him now yourself.
You know, I think you're great, and I definitely think you should go into schools and talk to young people. And I think a lot of young people need that, someone to come in who sees themselves in you. A lot of, especially from our community, that sees themselves doing well. You know, so I think if you can even reach out to schools and talk to young people, or even in your university, I think that would be a great accolade to have, because it will be good for you and it will build networks for you in your business life and in your personal life. Definitely, I think that's good. And I want to just say, may Allah continue to bless you on your journey. May He make this Ramadan great for you. And you know, may He can continue to bless you and your family. I mean, so yeah.
Likewise.
And thank you so much. Please give your parents a good hug for me. Yeah, praise them. Continue to pray with them. Okay, continue to pray with them. Okay, so they are doing an outstanding job. Okay. And I look forward to speaking to you in coming years. We want to track your progression.
I want an invite to Kenya. I want an invite to Kenya.
You will one day. You will one day.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you very much.
And please express our gratitude to your parents. Okay.
Will do.
You are never alone. As you will know, you are never alone.
Okay? Thank you. I know that.
My blessings.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you well.
Bye-bye.
Blessings. Wow. Empress Abner, now wasn't that something else, huh?
Inspiring young man.
Wow. And it was so important I was trying to get through the others, but it doesn't matter. One is it's the quality, not the quantity.
Yeah. But it would have been good to see what others have experienced in Africa, because not many people know about back home. And, you know, a lot of young people don't want to go back home. They're scared of revealing their culture, telling people about their culture. And one thing I've instilled in my son is that you are Ghanaian. No matter what country you're in, you are Ghanaian, you know, and you have to embrace that. You have to embrace your language, your culture, whatever it is that makes you rich and hold on to your traditions. You have to keep hold of that. And that's why, as much as my son has an Islamic name, he has an African name as well. So he's Friday born. So he has that name and he's going to carry that name. My cousin's a Kujo. So when my son met my cousin for the first time, he was like, we're both Kujos. So they had that connection. Not only were they related, they had the connection of the name. So he's like, you've got my namesake. And my son smiled, and, you know, they got on so well. And that connection with the motherland, like my friend's going to the motherland for the first time, and she's in her 40s. She's never been. Her brother's never been. So they going with her and her niece. And I was like, you know, you have to go. And she's like, you should come with us. And I was like, for one, the tickets are very expensive at the time you're going, and I'm working. But it's just the fact that she will get to see where her mum came from, her roots. And those things are so important. You will never get that back. You know, you will never get to have that time and that experience. It's something no one can ever take away from you. So I feel like it's vital, it's important to go back to Ghana. Like, hopefully, inshallah, next year or maybe the end of this year, we get to go. And my son gets to see how rich my son has 8 great uncles, so many cousins. He has more than 64. I have more than 64 first cousins. So can you imagine the amount of people that my son gets to meet, and that the extra love that he has, the extra extended family that he has. You know, it's a beautiful thing. And as much as, you know, I know Ghana's very upcoming and a lot of people invest in. I don't know if everyone saw when Idris Elba went there and he wanted to start his own film. He wants to start Hollywood and Nollywood. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Like, he's half Ghanaian, but he still held on to his roots and he wants to invest back in his roots. And I think, you know, those kind of things makes me so happy that he's, as much as the money he's made, he still remembers where he's come from and he's going back there to invest. And that's what we need, you know. And obviously we don't have a Ghana Airways no more, but we have other things that we can use and utilize and thrive on. And I think that's a beautiful thing, you know, being Ghanaian and all the other bits that makes me who I am. So yeah.
And it grounds you, doesn't it? It gives you a sense of grounding.
I've been grounded for a long time. I'm 5'2.25". I've been grounded for a long time. What can I say? Been near to the ground for many years.
Are you still there? Okay, got you. Interesting. Oh, my signal's gone down again. Anyway, never mind. Am I being heard all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Fine, good. So it is interesting to listen to him speak. He's a young man just about beginning his life journeys, okay? But he's already inspired. That's the way to start your life journey. You've got to inspire our young people, our children, so they take that information on to the rest of their life. That's the way to start a good adult life. Okay? And that's why it's so important to hear from young people. Okay?
You've gone robotic again. You've gone robotic.
I'm robotic. I'm really sorry about this.
Or static. I don't know which one it is.
Okay, it seems perfectly fine at my end, but this is interesting. Am I not being heard again?
It's not clear. Like, I'm very clear. We need to work on the sound.
Yeah, you think so? I think I've got strong signals on versus you left me. Very strong signals for a while. I'll be back.
You know what I liked as well about Ahmadine coming on? From it, we never get people from East Africa who are doing who we get to speak to, and I think for me that was very nice. You know, we get Caribbeans, we get West Africans, maybe we haven't had no North Africans yet, but it's good to see a variety because our diaspora is very vast. And you know, when we keep it to a certain, we're not reaching out to other people. And it is very important for children in this country to see people that resonate with them, people that look like them, who are like them, who understand the culture, the needs of our people. Because we don't see those faces, even though we do in books or in certain parts of the year. We need to see it throughout the year. And I'm very pro that, to seeing people that we look like. You know, for me, when I was in school, I had a great teacher, and when she taught Black History Month, it was great. And she made me, and when I talk about heroes, I talk about heroes in my religion. I talk about heroes that I come from. Like, there's this woman called Yaa Asantewaa, and if you haven't heard about her, she was a great freedom fighter in Ghana, and she led the revolution, and she is always been my role model. It's never been someone in Europe, it's never been a British person, it has been a Ghanaian person, because the stuff that she did for Ghana was amazing. Kwame Nkrumah, you know, the first president of Ghana. And what's amazing is I found out two girls that I met later on in life, their uncles and their grandparents led the revolution of Ghana to its first independence. And one's a successful teacher with twins and an older child, and another one has 3 children, and she is a senior partner in a business in London. So it's they have very influential, and their history is quite amazing because they had that past of their grandparents and their uncles being involved in the future of Ghana being different when they had their independence. So it's just, I'm full of rich and knowledgeable and people of different walks of life, and that makes me feel rich in myself as well.
Wonderful. Inspiring. My first, this is why you're here, you know?
I don't know, I'm here for that. I think I'm just here because I'm just cute, but you know. You know.
That as well, of course. Yeah,
I'll take whatever I can get.
Absolutely. And of course, the message for our viewers, for our listeners, of course, is that Africa is calling. Yeah, Africa is calling. It needs the sons and daughters of Africa to return. It needs us to invest in her, okay, so she may grow, okay. Africa is calling.
Yeah, but make sure you go in the right seasons. Make sure you go in the right, because if you go in the raining seasons, you're not going to enjoy it. So you need to make sure you go in the right time.
The practicalities,
Yeah.
right, the practicalities. And the second message this show is intended to communicate, not only is Africa calling, but it's particularly calling the young. But to go to Africa equipped, prepared, yeah. So you heard American discuss that prior to going to Africa more recently, his studies were beginning to wane. Now he has a clear mission, a clear purpose as to why he is studying, okay? And he's now redoubled his desire to acquire the academic outcomes that will enable him to make a positive contribution to Africa. Okay? It may be a few years off yet, but he's now focused. Okay? So there are young people with his potential, okay, who listen and view this podcast, okay? And you are viewing us via galaxyafui.net. We hope that you're inspired by this young man's view of Kenya and why it's so important to him, his culture and traditions. Okay, born in this country, but determined to return to the motherland. I hope those who are viewing us, not only have you heard, but you've seen him. He's real. He's not plastic. He's not a computer simulation. He's a real human being. And he starts off by saying money management, because he had the wealth and he met people who were just poor. And he didn't think about it, but he gave them what he had.
You get a reality check when you go to Africa. It's a big reality check of the difference of money, the difference of lifestyle, the quality of life. Is a big difference. And not only that, I don't think it's just part of his character. It's part of us as Muslims, that when you see someone, they say when you see someone below you, you have to look out for them. So I think that's part of his character, and that comes from the religion that he practices and everything like that. And Africa does give you a reality check of how you see people live, because and the difference here, I don't know, but in Africa, especially in Ghana, you can buy a plot of land, or if your family own a land, you can build upon the land and then you can rent it out and do certain things. I don't know how it works in Kenya, but we don't get those opportunities in here that you get over there in building your own homes, renting them, selling them. So for me, retail business properties are a big business over there as well. Fishing, agriculture, tourism, they're a big thing in Ghana, So I think people need to see what Africa has to offer. And because Lebanese, the Chinese would not be invested in certain parts of Africa if they did not see potential. So if a young person at that age can see potential, what does that say to someone who's older?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Let me say that with real vigor. Yes, the young person that age can see the potential. Oh my gosh. Then the potential is truly limitless. Truly limitless. Oh yeah, that's why he was here, to see the limited potential of Africa. Absolutely. And of course, you mentioned a number of sectors. As you mentioned, the tech sector is growing at an exponential rate right across the continent. Most certainly Nigeria, Ghana, but certainly Kenya, Uganda, and South Africa. The tech sector is growing at an exponential rate. Okay, but of course, the tech sector here in Britain is enormous. Just imagine the size if we were fully developed across Africa. Can you imagine?
Yeah, my sister works in tech.
Oh, it'd be absolutely outstanding. So we've got to inspire the young to have that vision, to solidify that vision, so it will come to pass. Okay? And whatever it takes to support them, we, the mature ones, should do so. We, the mature ones. Good morning. Good. Yeah. Thank you. I like you. You just keep doing that. Yeah. You asked the right question.
Your mic's going again.
Oh, I don't understand why I have a full bar here, and here it says I have a very strong signal. Very curious. I've investigated further, but it's according to I have a very strong signal. But we are almost out of time. Yes, can you?
I can hear you, but it's very.
Okay. Yeah, we're almost out of time. What's your closing word for the audience before we leave?
What's my closing words for today? Young people go back home. Young people go look at what your parents come from. It's very important. You don't know where you come from until you've been there. So that's my closing statement.
And prepare yourself, you know? Prepare yourself, my qualifications, my skills, you know, or accumulate capital.
But sometimes you don't need a degree to be the best that you can be. There are people who have SEN needs that didn't get a chance to go to school and stuff, and they've become great people. So if the education side doesn't work for you, have a plan B, have a plan C, have a plan D. You know, don't think just because you haven't had an education, your life is not set up. There are other ways for you to build a life. You know, there taxi cabs do it and they can get houses. There's so many ways to make a life for yourself. The education is a good setup, but it's not the only setup. And we need to remember that. You know, money's great to have, but also having family.
We're almost out of time now. So don't worry, I've got you. In other words, you need to have drive and ambition.
100%.
That's what you need. I'm going to say to those on the galaxytheory.net network, I'm going to hand you over to the next presenter, and we'll just go on a few minutes more on YouTube and Facebook. So I'll disconnect from there.
Ramadan Mubarak, everyone.
And just coming back to us, and I'll just say my emphasis has really been an important milestone. But I want to attract more young people. I want young people.
And the best way you can do that is to get someone like my sister, who's a woman in tech, who inspires young people. Like I said, my friend Lisa, who worked in gangs area. Sherelle, who used to work for Fight for Change, and those kind of people. Lambeth Young Advisors.
I'm not the name just yet.
Sorry, I'm name dropping, but I love these people. They're really I love these people, and they work in the community. There's a mother called Ola. She teaches self-defense and roller skating. These are great. These are mothers who have children. These are people that work in the community, and they're just great. I really love them because I love the work that they do. I love the fact that they're so involved with these young people. There's another person, I'm not going to name drop him as well because I've just met him, but he's given opportunities to people in my school to do certain things. So I love these people, and I think if I wasn't in this job, I would have never met these people in a million years, you know. So I think it's really important that, you know, you get people that understand young people. And I say to young people, I didn't just get here, I had to work hard. I did volunteering. I went through a lot of stuff to get where I am today. Like, I never knew that I would be doing this job. Like, I thought I'd be working in criminology. You know, I thought I'd be a stay-at-home mum. You know, it didn't work that way. So I had to have a plan. I'm still young, and there's still a lot of things I want to do. Like, I want to work in the charity sector. I want to go abroad and look after people in the charity sector. But my life does not stop in London. My life does not stop here. There's much more I want to do in the next 20, well, however long Allah gives me on this earth. But there's so much I want to do. And I just feel I've got the drive. I've got the passion. I just need investors. That's all I need. I'll get there. But yeah, I just believe, like, you know, anyone can do anything they put their mind to. Nothing is impossible. Nothing, no matter your color, your disability, your background, nothing is impossible.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. Well said, my first. That's
You're
why
welcome.
Yeah, that's why
3 hours sleep, I'm on a roll. 3 hours.
Well said. That's absolutely right. And of course, the whole purpose of these shows is to inspire into action. So this is the Motivator Show. This is where we translate our words into action, and where success is ours for the taking.
Lovely.
Until the next strong, we remain Empress Abner and the Motivator. Stay strong, but take care of yourselves, people. Take care of yourselves. and take care of those around you, because they will reward you many times over. My Empress, please. My Empress, give your son a big hug from me.
Right. I will do. I'll tell him. I
know you will. I know you will.
Yeah.
Blessing to you all. I hope you found today's show helpful. Blessings.
Peace out.
Peace out. Okay. Oh, there. Peace out, huh? Here's the music. I'm going now. There you go.